Hey everyone, it's an impromptu one today. Ignore the state of my face, my nails, all of it. I just wanted to jump on here. I feel comfortable coming here and sharing here, and so I am, because that's what I've been doing the last few months, and I don't know, I feel like sharing. So this week my granddad passed away. So this was my mum's dad. 3 years ago my grandma passed away, so my mum's mum, the wife. And I feel numb. I don't know what I feel. For me, these were the grandparents that I knew, because on my dad's side, I never met his mom. She died before I was born. She died around the Nigeria Biafra Civil War, if you're familiar with Nigerian history. So she died during that, which was well before I was born. My dad's dad I did meet. He died maybe when I was around 9-10, and that was the worst death for me. He wasn't a witness on my dad's side. They're not witnesses. And I remember when he was being lowered, I wanted to jump in there with him. I was so sad. I was devastated. And my mom's parents, they became like the grandparents that I kind of knew. In fact, I went to live with them when I was 14. So when I was sent away at 14, it was them that I went to live with to start with, before moving around a bit. But that's where I started, and it meant so much for me. I don't know if I've mentioned this before or not, but they were the first couple that I saw who adored each other. Like, they really, my son's in the house. I told him to stay down there so it's not so noisy. They adored each other, like really happy to be with each other. And boy, did I really need to see that, because up until that point, my concept of relationships that I'd seen, they were not great at all. Cavell, can you stay downstairs until I'm done? This is impromptu, guys. So they, from the age of 14, became very, very involved, I guess, from living with them. My grandmother, she used to go have like a kiosk, like a stall in, I guess, what you would call like a station, like a bus station. And so when the bus drivers would have a break, want something to eat or something to drink, so we sold to them, and we did that sort of every day after school, over the weekend as well, in amongst sort of all the spiritual activity and all of that. But that was a really nice time. I mean, looking back, being sent away at 14, that was a good thing. And I was with them. They were a bit more lenient, I guess, compared to my parents, which is something that I've heard. Grandparents tend to be softer with their grandkids than they were with their kids. I mean, that was certainly the case. Their first daughter, who so my auntie, who got pregnant without being married. I mean, she was kicked out. And when her daughter, my cousin, did the same thing, she wasn't completely kicked out. She maybe runs in the family in some way. First daughter syndrome. But I really did care about them. And so they're both gone. I had been seeing them for 12 years. There were the odd phone call during that time, but not really a relationship as such. I think if there was anyone that was going to make me pretend I was still a witness, it would probably be them. Because they were hardcore. Like, governing body says jump, they say how high. That kind of witness. They're completely devoted, completely in there. And so, gosh, it would have broken their heart. So we just didn't speak. So now I feel numb. I don't know what I feel. I know that there's no one script for what grief should be like. I don't know if I'm going to be hit like a ton of bricks a few months down the line. I mean, my grandmother passed 3 years ago, and it was a similar thing. I don't want this to be my reaction. I don't want this to be how I feel when people pass away. I don't want to be numb, but that's how I feel. Any of you guys here, right? If you've lost family members since you left, how did it feel? What was that like? 'Cause I know I'm capable of being sad. I mean, well, of course I am. But with my dad's dad passing, then I don't know what I feel. I'm just numb. But it's sad. It's a loss. Yeah. And I just wanted to document it in this state. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. That's like it's like the end of an era. Like, they're both gone. We were no longer connected in the one thing that was the most important to them. And I couldn't pretend that I was. It's just a lot of factors. This is the collateral damage of relationships when things fall apart like this. There is a lot to unpack. There is a lot that gets lost. There is a lot of human emotion that gets compromised. I don't want to turn this into another, bash the governing body thing, but they are the reason families separate. They are the reasons when during the odd time over the last few years that I spoke to my parents, they don't want to pass on the phone to talk to them, because all they're going to want to ask me is, how are the brothers over there? That's what my granddad would ask all the time. And once it was clear that I couldn't really answer that, they weren't passing the phone, and they didn't personally have phones, at least not that I knew of, really, that I could call my granddad. And so communication would have been through that. But you don't want to put the person on the phone who is not going to be able to answer the questions that they want answered. And so And so there we go. It's a real shame. You know, you just hope that, well, I hoped that I could have had a chance to see them. I mean, that probably would have broken their heart if I saw them and told them that I was no longer a witness, but now I guess I'll never really know, because they're gone. Yeah, that's it, guys. Nigerian XJW speaks. Signing out. I'll speak to you on the next video, hopefully a bit less intense. Hope you're having a good weekend.